Alright guys, so I made a big mistake and recorded this entire video without my mic being on. And this was not entirely my fault. I should always check everything before I start recording. I know this and I'm a dum-dum for not doing it. But my issue was that somehow OBS had completely reset all of my settings and everything, so it reset the mic to default, and the default was not my mic. There is no mic for default. Like, I don't know, it literally didn't record any audio at all. It also made it so that my desktop audio did not record either, so there is unfortunately no game sound, and I can't really fix that. And I can't go back and redo what I already did because I already did it. So we are getting commentary after the fact. So the first thing that I want to share with you guys is the new mechanic that they showed us, which was the grapple. And after we go over that, we are going to go into the game and actually play and do our build as promised. So the grapple is really cool looking. It adds an element to combat that we haven't had before. It lets us pull flying creatures towards us, which is great, I think, because then it allows us to use melee on them, which we were previously unable to do before. So the video that they showed with us shows two different enemies, a flying enemy and a ground enemy. And the ground enemy, we get pulled towards them, and the flying enemy, it gets pulled towards us, which is really nice. I think that it'll add a great new element to the combat and everything, and I think that, I just think that it will add more to the exploration of the game as well, assuming that we see more uses for it, aside from just being used on enemies, but only time will tell. So I'm really excited about that, and I wanted to share all of that with you guys. So the next thing is they shared a video showing, there was kind of a Mortal Kombat homage that showed another flying and another ground enemy being fought using the new grapple mechanic, which was also really neat. And because I can't show sound and I have to do this kind of the way I'm doing it, I am not going to show like the whole video, or maybe I will. I'll figure this out in editing how I'm going to do this, because this is like not usually how I do things, and it's making things very difficult. But it's frustrating, but I'll get through it. It's good. We're good. We're doing this. So we are starting at a different location today because this is where we're going to be creating our build. So we need to get shroud cores. So we have to go back home because I know that I have quite a few shroud cores in chests at home. So we're going to go grab those. And then we're going to come back and we're going to upgrade our flame altar and start the build. So here I am looking for the shroud cores and desperately wishing that I had organized my chest better. But on the upside, we will have better organization coming very, very soon, because the first building we are going to build is our storage shed. So that is really exciting and awesome. The storage shed is going to be the first thing that we see when we enter into our world, because it's going to be built around the flame altar. So the storage room is where the flame altar is going to sit. And for our purposes, it's going to be a very simple build. But it's still like, I'm still trying to do like different things with textures and make it good. So I'm heading back to the altar now. And I'm just upgrading it, because we have a whole bunch of shroud cores, and we don't need very many to upgrade our flame altar. And I am confused as to why we didn't need more materials until I realized, oh yeah, the materials, all that we had to gather and everything for the flame was to strengthen it, not to upgrade it. So upgrading it is actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, which is excellent because I definitely wanted to start our build today. And I was unsure if we would be able to do that if resource gathering would have taken up all of our time, but it didn't. So our first build can be built with resources we already have. So I'm heading back now to the original area to gather from our chests the items that we need to make our first build. So we get wooden planks and clay. I end up not taking the fabric because I realized we probably won't need it. Half-tempered block. My instinct is to take everything, of course, but we don't need everything right now. We will eventually take everything, but not right this second. Right now, we just need to focus on our first build, getting a few chests up, and getting things set up in our new location where our big Halloween build is going to be. So obviously we need stone, we need all of the blocks that we have already made, and other materials. So I'm gathering everything that I think we might use or need, and charcoal's not one of them. We're also going to be moving over all of the characters and stuff too as time goes on, but we're going to do those probably one at a time as we build their houses. Because the only thing really left to do in the game is to, like, obviously we're relocating, so we're doing our builds. And then there's also the last hollow halls. We have one more left to do. And then just the exploration quests, finding music notes, music sheets, not music notes, music sheets, and finding crafting recipes in the Black Mire was one of them. That's like all that's left to do, so really we're like really at the end game now, which is great because the new update's coming and we're going to want to be able to spend all of our time right when it comes out exploring that and getting through that as well. But I'm really excited to get back to building because I haven't built anything in this game in quite a while. And I mean, while today's build isn't going to be super spectacular, it's exciting to be able to get into it and to experiment and build again. So just in general, I'm excited about it. So I'm trying to grab all the materials that could possibly be helpful for this build, and I'm grabbing the bones because I know that I'm going to need them to make the bone blocks at some point because we're going to be using a bunch of those for this build. I have plans. I have ideas. I have plans. I have images in my head of what I want it to be, and I'm hoping that I can actually implement what's in my head because I'm really excited about this build. This is like, I've been hyping this up for months. I know I've been hyping this up for such a long time since I started this series, and now we're finally here. We're finally making our big build, and I'm glad to say that it's going to be a Halloween build where we focus mainly on the collector. I think I'm gonna make like the collector, the story for this build, I think I'm going to make the collector like the king of the town that I'm building. So we're gonna have the big like communal storage area, right? And the collector is gonna be like the king, so I'm gonna make him like a big like castle like house. I don't know if it's gonna be a castle, but it's gonna be like a fairly big grand build for him with like all of the green lights, and I'm gonna put his throne in there and you know, that kind of thing. And then we're gonna have like the townhouses, which will be somewhat smaller. That's where the NPCs will live, and that's where I'm gonna make my house as well. I'll live there too. But as the king's second hand, I get a bigger house, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. That's like maybe, as if it's not my decision to make. But I honestly am, just because the collector isn't used much aside from crafting stuff that is related to his whole IP or whatever, his whole thing. Then I'm not too worried about trying to make it more accessible like I'm going to do with like the blacksmith and the hunter and all of that. Their houses will be smaller, so I don't have to run 10 miles to get to them and to their stuff. But for him, I'm not too worried about it because of he doesn't have as big of a role as they do, I guess I should say. That's kind of my plan. I'm gonna do a graveyard for sure. I haven't decided where to put it yet. I do kind of look for it in the video, look for a place and kind of think about where I want it, but I haven't quite decided fully where I want it yet. You know, that's kind of part of it. Right now, like, we're back at the location, and I'm thinking because I'm like my storage is full now, and I still don't have a chest or a crafting table. So now what am I gonna do? I also don't have a building hammer, so I kind of messed up, and we have to end up going back again because I can't make anything because my storage is full. All right. And I was able to delete that, but that's just because we don't need it anymore. We can make another one if we end up going back into the Nomad Highlands Hollow Halls, but I don't think we're going to. We might go back in there. It depends. But at the moment we're not. For the moment we're not. So we are, I know I'm repeating things. I don't usually do commentary. That's the issue. So now I'm back and I'm fixing the issue. I'm putting some stuff that I probably don't need right this second back into chests. And deciding on what I do need to bring back so we can finally start this build. Crafting table crafted. We got our building hammer. I moved the crafting table down so that I can place it when the time comes. And I'm just kind of checking to make sure. And when I check, I move the mouse over stuff. It's weird, but whatever. That's what I do. And now I'm chopping down trees because I needed more wood logs. Something that we didn't have either that I needed. I keep wanting to say things that come later in the video, and I keep having to remind myself not to get ahead of myself. This is why I don't do commentary, because I have thoughts and I need to say them, and I can't say them when I do commentary until later, and it's annoying. That's why I always say everything and do everything right as I'm doing it, and no audio means I have to improvise and do this. So I'm gonna complain about this for the end of time, guys. Literally the end of time. I'm gonna be like 10 years down the line making videos, and I'm still going to mention the one time I recorded an entire video without audio, without my mic being on and without any audio, and I'm still going to be mad about it because this is the most inconvenient thing to ever happen since I started doing this. And I have recorded a lot of videos and I have not had this issue. I have had audio issues, don't get me wrong, but I have not had this specific issue until today. And so now, here we are. I'm working on it. Alright, so now I'm like, we have enough blocks to kind of do what I want to do here for the storage area. We might expand it out farther than what I end up making it though. But for right this second, this is good. We have enough for this. So I end up deciding on which type of block I want to use for the floor. And then I continuously hit the wrong button because that's what I do in every single time I play this game. Or any game. I'm always ended up hitting the wrong button and having to figure out how to do it. But it's also been a while since I've built in the game too, so that's part of this. So I picked this spot specifically because it's mostly flat, so it's easy to build on. So I just go around and I kind of try to decide how big do I want this. And I actually might expand it beyond what I end up making it, like I said, because I think it's a little bit too small. Once I finish it, I realize it, but it won't take that much to expand it. Because I only will expand it like maybe 1 or 2 blocks out on all sides. So yeah, I decided I put pillars up because I think these look really good. Like I like the detailing on the wooden pillars. And then I start placing indoors because I'm like, I don't want to wall it off. I want it to be known, but I also want it to be like kind of separate, like it's because it's our flame altar. It's a very important centerpiece. And I want to accentuate that. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm trying to accentuate the flame altar in being our centerpiece. And then I start to think maybe I don't want to do the wooden. Maybe I want to do different textures because like this is a massive build, but this is also the build where we kind of experiment and do a little bit more with what we have. Something that I am terrible at, which is why I want to do it. Because I want to get better at it. So then I think I like this brick because it looks more temple-y. And that's kind of what I'm going for at the very least, like what we used to surround it with. I like the temple-y feel. But then, while the wooden pillars still look pretty good on that, I don't really like them now. So I take them off and I see how it looks with the matching pillars, and I think it looks better. So I use those instead. I take off the rest of them, and then I put those on. And see, that looks more temple-y, which I like because it's supposed to give kind of... I wanted to give kind of... There was a temple here in this flame altar. sat in the center of it, and we just built around it as to not disrupt the sanctity of what this once was, right? That's kind of the feel I'm trying to get here. So we built around it. We kept it sacred, so to speak. Yeah, I don't like how those jut out, so I have to fix it. So I use the smaller, I switched to, here in a minute, to the smaller ones, and that ends up being perfect. There, see? The smaller ones end up working perfectly, but, oh, it juts out on this side too. So we have to get rid of those as well. And we use the smaller ones for this side too, and setting this up was so annoying, honestly. Doing the roof on this, on the flame altar, was so annoying. And I wasn't even sure if I wanted to do a roof or if I wanted to keep it open, but I decided on the roof simply because I thought it needed the protection. And I think that the roof in the storage room is going to be higher than that. But I haven't decided yet on exactly what I want to do for that. And so here I am, I'm trying to pick what I want to use for the wall, which brick I want to use, and I kind of test out the limestone. But I'm not really feeling it. I don't really think that I like the limestone. It's too meh. Right, like this has to look like we built around this sacred place. So we built, and the only thing that was there when we showed up was the middle part. That's kind of what I'm going for. I just had an idea of how to do something. But we'll do it in the next video. Maybe, if I remember. But, yeah, so, and we're also not doing the window ones, the walls with the windows already built in, because we're going to carve those out. So we're just building the walls, and then we're going to build the door. And the door location might change, depending on how I structure the town, but I kind of want it to go out in different directions from the storage room. I have kind of an idea of how I want it to go. The road that's already there will be obsolete by the time we're done. We're not going to use it the way that it is. That's why we're building over it, because it doesn't matter. It's not there. We're pretending like it's not there. We're gonna build our own roads. I'm really excited about this project, and I know, like, I've said that before. I've said, yeah, I'm really excited about it, and then I don't do it, and then I don't do it. But the reason is literally because we needed to get to this point where we had all of these resources to use, all of this stuff, where we had the area, which I didn't actually decide until, like, a week ago that I wanted to build it here, but until we had all the areas unlocked, so we had as many choices as we possibly had for this build, so we didn't have to go back and redo it too much, because we still probably will go back and redo it as time goes on in the game, but this is gonna be like our main place right here. This is gonna be it. This is our town, so I want to make sure that we have it. And we're going to also leave room for the animal farming stuff and whatever too. So we're not going to fill up the whole flame altar area. And we're probably going to have to dig some stuff out and work around some of the landscape. But it's going to be good because this is like the flattest area that I can find. I'm sure that there's flatter areas in the desert. But like all of them leave off a cliffside into the shroud, which this does too at some point, but not as much as the other areas. So this seemed like the best area to build in for what I was doing. And maybe next year we can submit for the Halloween contest if they do another one, because I didn't do that. I didn't participate this year. And here I am. I'm experimenting with the windows here because I'm trying to decide if I want to use the stained glass for this room or not, and I might still, or I might not. I literally still haven't even decided, but I think that I'm gonna do the iron bar windows with like the designs on them instead, because I'm not really a fan of how that looks for this build. For another build it might be better, but for this build I want something else. So you can see me kind of tinkering with it and deciding on what I want to do with it. Yeah, see, I don't really like that, and I keep thinking maybe I will, but I don't. I really don't like it. So I'm like removing it all. But I also don't like it just being like how it is either. Like just having a single window there just doesn't feel right either. So I decided, okay, I need to count how many up from the bottom. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm counting how many up from the bottom and how many over from the side as well, so I can make it look exact on both sides, because I want that symmetry for this. Yeah, I want the symmetry. I want to make sure that I do this right. And I do that. And then I think, yeah, I think this is where I make it bigger. Here we go. So I start making it bigger. I think, is that big enough? No, it's not big enough. So I make it even bigger. Well, now it needs to be wider because I don't think that's good enough either. I make it one more wider. And then I come over here, I do the same thing on this side. Because I still want that symmetry. I still need that symmetry. And I might even end up making it even bigger than when I've already made it. I don't know yet. It depends on, what it'll probably depend on is if I add more to the top to make the building taller. So now I'm kind of checking out like what I've accomplished here, taking a good look at it and taking a good look at it and deciding if this is how I want to leave it for now. So the plan is to we're not going to put chests in there right now. We're going to wait on that. Once we do put chests in there, we will add more to this particular build. I think I'm checking out, this is the part where I start checking out the perimeter to see how much room we have to work with. And we do have quite a bit of room. But the plan is to, we're going to add the chests kind of first alongside what I plan to do to like decorate the inside of it. So it's going to all mesh together nicely. And that's also why we're not doing the roof yet, because I'm not sure how tall I want it. It'll depend on how it goes with placing the chests in there. And I would like to use primarily the largest of the magic chests for this build as well. So we have like, you know, the max amount of space that we can get. So I'm checking out the borders here so you can kind of watch that as I talk. I'm trying to see how much room we have. It comes just before that cave there. So I might even put another flame altar to extend it out more at some point. But for now, we're going to keep it at this. Because it for some reason doesn't feel like there's enough room for what I want to do. But if we need another flame altar, we can obviously use it. There's so many of them. We can have 8 total, and there's a bunch that I have placed down just as markers that I can go to and remove in order to place more down. Because I think we have the max down right now. The max amount. And I also thought about maybe doing the collector's house up there on the hill, and I still could do that too. And placing a flame altar up there would also help extend that a little bit as well. But I haven't decided yet exactly like where I'm gonna put everything. I just know that I want the storage to be in the center, so that right when we fast travel back home, we're in the storage room and we can put everything away, and it'll work out that way. It'll work out that way. That's the best way I can do it. So here I placed down a crafting table finally, and I placed down a little chest just to kind of put stuff in temporarily to make room in my inventory so we can bring more stuff back that we need and get more stuff that we need from our other home. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm putting stuff in my inventory to kind of just make room. So thank you guys all for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Have a wonderful rest of your day.